You open your phone for 10 seconds, just to check the time. 40 minutes later, you are still scrolling, and somehow you feel worse than before you started. You didn't learn anything useful. You didn't talk to anyone you love. You just watched other people's highlight reels and quietly measured your whole life against them. That's not a character flaw. That's your brain doing something it has done since before phones existed, before mirrors, before language itself. Why can't you just stop comparing yourself to others? Here's the reframe. Your brain isn't broken. It's ancient. For most of human history, your survival depended on knowing exactly where you stood relative to everyone around you. Were you strong enough to keep up with the group? Skilled enough to be protected instead of abandoned? Status wasn't vanity back then. It was safety. So evolution wired a constant background process into you, one that never fully turns off, quietly asking the same question over and over. Where do I rank? Psychologists call this social comparison theory, first proposed by Leon Festinger in 1954. Festinger argued that in the absence of objective ways to measure ourselves, we evaluate our own worth by comparing ourselves to others. No ruler exists for confidence, or intelligence, or success. So your brain builds one out of other people. That ruler used to be your village. Maybe 30, 50, 100 people you'd see over a lifetime. Your brain evolved to run this comparison process against a small, slow-moving pool of humans. Now open your phone again. Your brain is running that same ancient ranking software against millions of curated, filtered, highlight reel humans, all at once, every single day. Do you see the mismatch? The tool wasn't built for this scale. It's like taking a compass designed to navigate a small town and asking it to map the entire planet. It still points somewhere. It just isn't pointing anywhere useful anymore. Here's what's actually happening in your brain in that moment on the couch. You see a friend's vacation photo. Instantly, before you've even consciously registered it, your brain runs a silent calculation. They have something I don't. It doesn't ask about the argument they had at the airport, or the debt that funded the trip, or the anxiety hiding just outside the frame. It only has the image. And your brain, always looking for a fast answer, treats that fragment as the whole truth. Social psychologist Sonia Lyubomirsky's research on happiness found that people who compare themselves frequently to others report lower life satisfaction, even when their actual circumstances haven't changed at all. Nothing in your life got worse. Your ranking software just returned a bad number. There's a name for the version of comparison that hurts the most. Researchers distinguish between upward comparison, measuring yourself against people who seem to have more, and downward comparison, measuring yourself against people who seem to have less. Upward comparison, in small doses, can actually motivate you. But your phone doesn't show you small doses. It shows you an endless, algorithmically optimized stream of people at their best, and your brain quietly logs each one as new evidence that you are behind. Day after day, that evidence stacks, not into a single crushing moment, but into a slow erosion of how you see your own life. So here's the counterintuitive twist. The problem was never that you compare. Comparison itself is not the enemy. Every human brain does it, automatically, instantly, without permission. The problem is what you're comparing against, and how often. You're measuring your unedited, behind-the-scenes life against everyone else's highlight reel, on a scale no human brain evolved to process. Trying to simply stop comparing yourself is like trying to stop your stomach from growling. You can't switch off a survival instinct through willpower alone, but you can change what data it's working with. This is where psychologist Carol Dweck's research on mindset becomes useful, not as a slogan, but as a tool. Dweck found that people with a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, respond to other people's success completely differently than people with a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset sees someone else's win as proof of your own ceiling. A growth mindset sees it as a data point, evidence that the outcome is possible for someone using some process you could actually study. Same photo, same success, two completely different internal reactions, and the difference is entirely in the frame you put around it. So what do you actually do the next time you feel that familiar tightening in your chest scrolling through someone else's life? First, name it. Just say to yourself, quietly, this is social comparison, not truth. Naming the process pulls you out of it slightly, the same way naming a wave of anxiety can make it a little less overwhelming. Second, ask a better question than why don't I have that? Ask, what did that require? And is it something I actually want, or something I only want because I saw it? Many things that trigger comparison aren't even things you'd choose for yourself. You're just reacting to visibility, not desire. Third, and this is the one backed most consistently across the research, shrink your reference group on purpose. Instead of comparing yourself to millions of strangers performing their best moments, compare yourself to one person. You 6 months ago. That's the only comparison with a complete data set. No filter, no highlight reel, just the truth of where you actually started and where you actually are now. It's slower. It's less dramatic. But it's the only ranking system where you can actually win. You open your phone again. 10 seconds, just to check the time. And this time, before the scroll pulls you in, you notice the pull for what it is. Not proof that you're behind. Just an old survival instinct. Doing exactly what it was built to do. Running the wrong scale on the wrong century. You put the phone down. Not because you fixed your brain. Because you finally understood it.